Everybody. So I was told firsthand, well, I guess this will be secondhand, right? So they were, my clients are going to be soon to be neighbors with the people that I'm talking to. And actually they were friends with them even before they learned about them going to be neighbors. And I've done a lot of videos throughout my career on this buyer's rep agreement. And, you know, unfortunately, with the new law changes that happened in August, they kind of like forced at least some sort of an agreement, right? There is the touring agreement, which is what we use, which is not a buyer's agreement. But they basically now allow real estate agents to really press this upfront agreement on you, even to show you a house, because technically they do have to have something. They can't, real estate agents can no longer just show you a house without some sort of agreement, whether it's a touring or a buyer's agreement. But I've been heavily against those from a contract standpoint, especially up front, throughout my career. Tons of videos on these, because I think ultimately it is not in the buyer's best interest of kind of doing these, because you never really know if you're going to get a good agent or a bad agent if they're a stranger. But you know, we do require them for us to put an offer in. It's kind of how we operate, as we would do that buyer's rep agreement for you. In our buyer's rep agreement, like, we explain everything. We actually put it only pertaining to that address. So if we don't get it or something happens, that buyer's agreement is null and void after that address. That's something we do that I would almost say that no other agents do. Now maybe I'm wrong. There's some out there that do it, but I would almost say that none of the other ones are going to do it. But we want to, again, protect ourselves as agents from sometimes crazy people, and then also really protect the clients. And we use that, hey, listen, we're never going to force you to work with us. And even if we had an agreement or something and somebody came to me, hey, I want to cancel no longer, we cancel it, no problem. We don't ask for funds or try to sue them or nothing like that, even though technically we do have a contract and we could. So get into the story here. I'm actually helping my clients. We're actually closing on Tuesday. Closing on a brand new D.R. Horton house. And so we get it under contract, and maybe about a month into the contract, my client learns that, or he's talking with his friends who had been looking for a home several months back, but kind of just quit. They had looked at several, put some offers in, didn't get anything. And then kind of was just like, you know what, it's not really the right time. We'll just kind of like, slow down our search. Well, when they put the offers in, of course, that agent slid in that buyer's rep agreement, didn't tell them that it was what they were signing. And I see this all the time. People come to us and we're like, hey, do you have a buyer's agreement with anybody? They're like, no, but we put offers on. I'm like, well, guarantee you have one, even though they didn't tell you that. And we've run into some pretty rough situations where sometimes, again, people were threatening to be sued. We had to give up a certain percentage of commission to get the deal done. Buyer had to pay to get out of it, or it was very long. We've run into some terrible situations throughout my career of seeing these go bad. And here's another example of one. So my clients being, oh yeah, we got this new D.R. Horton, like, man, it was an awesome process and a killer deal. We ended up telling them, well, they ended up actually going to like a D.R. Horton open house. So the D.R. Horton has their own in-house reps. That all they can do is D.R. Horton. They can't do other stuff. And they go there, and there's actually like a house they can put an offer in immediately, from my understanding of it, and did and got it, which is actually the neighbor. So they're neighbors with my client. They're already friends. So it was a great scenario. Well, my client, we were talking. I ended up selling their house too, and so we were just talking through a few things. He's like, dude, I got to tell you something. He goes, man, my friends that are buying the house next to me. I was like, yeah. And he was like, so they basically have the same closing, so they're going to be maybe closing here within the next week or so as well. Well, they posted on Facebook that they were, hey, listen, we're so excited to buy this new D.R. Horton. Well, her agent, who was working with them many months ago and basically hadn't heard from them, didn't text them, didn't call them, not send them any houses, not checking in with them, nothing. Like, basically it was that almost like an agreement that, hey, listen, we're not doing anything anymore. Saw it and was like, hey, I need my commission from that deal. And they were like, what are you talking about? They said, we have a buyer's rep agreement. And they're like, oh, well, here's the D.R. Horton rep. Well, D.R. Horton's rep, like, we can't give this to you. We're about to close. Like, you're not entitled to this. You're not entitled to this. This cooperating agreement when you've not done anything throughout the contract. So D.R. Horton's like, no, you weren't a part of it. We handled everything, and they have every right to do that. But also, again, legally, that buyer's agent also has a right to their money, which that buyer agreed to sign, even though they never told them. They never explained anything. They never told them, which is, I think, ultimately, people are, like, especially sales in this industry, they are trained and scripts and stuff to literally slide it in there, right? Hey, here's the purchase and sale. Let's go ahead and sign it. By the way, I've sent you other disclosures. We got to sign those as well, which is true, but they slide it in there. They never explain anything. They don't go over it, right? Because again, that way it's less confrontation. If you don't, and you're trusting somebody, and most of the time people are so excited to put an offer in, you're just clicking and signing, you don't. See it all the time. It happens to me all the time. I'll send an offer out and I send what's called an important lines text afterwards. I'm like, hey, when you get it, call me. We're going to go over this. Next thing I know, I get an email back that they've signed it. I'm like, I appreciate the trust. I really do. But I like to go over everything with people just to make sure. For one, typos. I might typo something. And we might catch it. All right. And I'll fix it. That's happened. But, so again, appreciate the trust, but you really need to make sure you understand what you're signing and ask questions, always, even with me or our agents, whatever. But, so anyways, they're going back and forth, and the agent's like, yeah, because at this point, the price point it's in, they're probably entitled to, I don't know, $10,000, $12,000 is probably where this would have winded up at from a commission standpoint. And so they argue back and forth. And again, I don't have anything to do, don't know how the argument was. But basically, my understanding is the buyers actually did agree to pay them like $2,000 to get them to go away. So still end up paying for it, even though that agent did nothing. And I see both sides of it, right? I see the agent side, right? They've wasted time and energy and effort and money in all the showings before, right? They were invested. I do see that side, right? That's my industry. I'd like to fight for that industry to a certain aspect of it. But I'm always going to be on, because I always put myself in the consumer shoes, client shoes, whatever, because I am that in many things in life. And I definitely would never come back if I saw somebody got a contract I was working with, even though I'd showed them. And I know for sure I've showed people 20, 30 houses and they've never bought. They fell off for whatever reason. And I don't go back to them and ask or worry about if they went with another agent or not. It is what it is, right? I'm here to help people that want me to help them. I'm not going to bug people or chase people around or I'm not looking at this industry for the dollar signs, right? This is really enjoyed helping people. Just so happens like the industry is real estate and obviously insurance is kind of the side of venture now. But yeah, I wanted to share this with you guys again. Just always watch what you're signing, even in the touring agreements, right? Because those can vary. Even the buyer's rep agreement, those can vary. Ask the questions, understand it, and don't put yourself in a position to potentially be sued or screwed down the road, because it can happen. And again, you've signed a legal contract, so understand it. But as always, guys, if you got questions, always feel free to holler.